Hello, and welcome to another episode of Data Talks. Today we're doing another Learning by Doing, where you get to watch a real data scientist go through some pandas exercises. This has helped a lot of my students in the past. I know it can be really useful seeing someone else approach these things and see what goes through their mind. Sometimes the questions are a bit ambiguous too, which makes it even more fun. So with no further ado, let's dive in and get into some pandas. Today we're doing in the grouping section, we are doing the first one, alcohol consumption. So I've gone ahead, I've already opened this. I always make sure to just open it to make sure that I don't need to download any data. That happened once. And so in this case, the data is at a specific address. So let's go ahead and get started. As always, it just seems like importing pandas as PD is the only thing that we really need to do. The address. So one thing that's nice, you can always just check this out. Okay, this is over at this guy's dat8. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like I've seen this repository before. But anyways, it is a comma-separated value. Nothing super crazy about that. So let's go ahead and grab this address. Copy link address. So URL equals this guy. Great. And then most people, you guys have watched these videos before, but read CSV can go ahead and take a URL as well. URL df equals. So this is pretty simple in this case because it had a header and it also had it was comma separated. So we can assign this value to drinks equals df, and then we can just check this out, drinks dot head. Okay, so we've got some countries. We have beer. Okay, so this is per country, how much do people drink? Which continent drinks more beer on average? Okay. Right, on average. It's kind of a funky thing here. So it obviously wants us to group by continent. We have beer servings here. The problem is that, you know, how do you average this? Do you average over country? So let's assume that it wants us to average per country. So let's go ahead and do this. I love Afghanistan. Doesn't drink any alcohol at all. I wonder how these things are actually reported. So for going ahead and doing this type of computation, we need to go ahead and do drinks dot group by. In this case, we will group by the continent, group by continent, and then dot ag. So this is the new format for grouping by. If you guys haven't seen this before, definitely check out my opinionated guide to pandas group by section. It's super useful. And then we'll want to get beer servings. Beer servings goes to, and we're looking for the mean. Okay, and this will be just group by. And we can check this out. We can just sort of see what this looks like. So this is each continent and what they drink. Looks like Europe goes ahead and drinks the most beer by a lot. I wonder what's the distribution underlying that. And you can always sort this as well. So for this, you can just do dot sort values. I wonder if this will just work even without me including anything. Okay, so you need to actually include beer servings. Right, so yeah, Europe. Okay, cool. Interesting, Asia drinks the least. Okay. For each continent, print the statistics for wine consumption. Great. So this is an interesting one. For each continent, print these statistics for wine consumption. I don't actually know how to do this really easily. So it wants us to do all the statistics. I wonder if we can do this. Describe. Okay, maybe this will work. Okay, great. I had no idea you could do that, but there you go. So we went ahead, we grouped by each continent, and then we went ahead and used this function describe. So this gives us all of this information. I didn't actually know that this would work. So pretty cool. And we can look at Europe. Europe also has the highest standard deviation as well. So there's some countries that drink much more. Oh, it was looking for wine consumption, not beer. So let's go ahead and grab, what is it called? Wine servings. Europe is certainly going to be the highest for wine servings as well. Yeah, by a lot. Fancy. Most standard deviation, probably because it's just highest. And then look at that, the max, 370. So notice the 75th percentile is really high. Okay, so pretty cool. Put the mean consumption, alcohol consumption per continent for every column. Put the mean alcohol consumption per continent for every column. Okay, so ultimately what it wants us to do here is to do one of these group by dot mean sorts of stats. So we can check this out. Group by. So you can do this. Again, I preferred using the ag stuff, but this will work. So this, we're grouping by continent, and then we go ahead and we do mean. It's just on everything. So we can check out the means. So Europe is the highest just by total period. Okay. Is there any kind of interesting things here? Let's look at South America. There's no North America. Oceania. Okay. Okay. Looks like Asia drinks a lot of spirit versus wine or beer. Okay, cool. Print the median alcohol consumption per continent for every column. This is going to be interesting. Is there a median? I'm going to guess there is. Yeah. Okay. Median. Print the mean, min, max values for spirit consumption. This time output a data frame. Okay. So, I mean, one thing, yeah, here's one thing we could actually do is print the mean, min, and max values for spirit consumption, not per continent. I'm not sure if it means to be per continent or not. For every column. So this is basically not saying per continent. So what it wants us to do in this case is we don't even need a group by. It's just drinks dot spirit consumption, spirit servings dot describe is going to be the simplest way to do this. Okay, so this gives us the min, max, and mean. Okay, so I hope this has been useful. If you'd like, let's go ahead and dive into the solutions and see if I did this differently than what they had suggested. So alcohol consumptions, exercise with solutions. Okay, so yep, totally fine. Group by continent beer servings not mean. Great. Group by continent wine serving describe. Perfect. Interesting that it. Yeah, interesting that if you do this dot and then this describe, it actually gives you a series instead of a data frame, which is what you get when you do the ag describe, which is what we were doing before. I personally like the ag describe. Yep, continent.mean, continent.median, spirit consumption, group by continent, spirit servings. Okay, ag, okay. Okay, so this was a little bit different because when I read this, I didn't know whether they wanted to group by continent or not. I would probably change that question just to go ahead and put in continent. And again, they just did .ag, which is perfect. It's exactly what I would have done too. Okay, I hope this has been a good sort of intro into group by stuff. This has been really fun for me. If you guys liked it, go ahead and leave a thumbs up at the video and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a couple more of these, so check in with the channel. And if you just want to do some learning or just, more data science with Data Talks, come on in. Thanks.